We've had a new big wave of anti-LGBTQ sentiment take over the far right in this country. And really, some of the quarterbacks of it are the Daily Wire and their various hosts, whether it be Michael Knowles or Matt Walsh or Ben Shapiro, in this case, Candace Owens. I wanted to share this. Shout out to Brendan Carrott from Media Matters for America for, getting this clip out there for everybody. So this is a guest Candace Owens is talking to. And look at the rhetoric around gayness. This is like a massive throwback. You're going back decades and decades here with this kind of homophobia.
Oh, they can never not do Pride Month. They've already accepted in our society. And as soon as they add the other color on there, which is going to be minor attractive person, you ask me, that's going to be the other little plus. It's going to be behind the plus. They're not going to have it on there. It's going to be behind the plus where nobody can see it. They're going to add that color to the flag. They're going to begin to adhere to that. And the government is still going to have to celebrate that month-long holiday. We have gotten ourselves to a point of no return.
He's comparing LGBTQ folks to pedophiles. That's what he's a minor attracted person. He's saying they're going to add that to the acronyms. That's what he's saying. No. What an absurd comparison. If somebody's gay or somebody's bi or somebody's trans, nobody's getting hurt. You're just being who you are, and you're living as true to yourself and embracing, who you're attracted to, right? If somebody is attracted to children, it is a crime to act on that, as it should be. You want to know why? Because a child cannot consent. They are not old enough to consent. They do not have the knowledge, the wherewithal, the ability, the development physically to engage in such acts. This is universal. This is universally agreed upon. To say we're just going to add minor attracted person to that list, that hasn't happened, that won't happen, and God forbid it ever does, there's going to be 90% of the country is going to say no. But I don't think it is. The whole point here is to make the comparison between LGBTQ folks and minor attracted people to say, and here's the main point. It's all deviancy. They're degenerates. This is all degeneracy. That's the point. That's why he's bringing it up. Not necessarily because he actually thinks that's gonna happen. His point is, look, it's all sinful. It's all degeneracy. So put it all in the same bin. That's what he's saying. It's dark, man.
To say this, but the return to logic and I'm gonna get killed over this, but the return to what we should be, it has to be a lot more strict than what we're willing to go. And I'm talking about strict to the point where a president says that homosexuality is a mental illness, like it was in the 70s, to the point where people who are homosexual cannot do these things in society.
Literal second-class citizenship for gay people? So what would you like to take away from them? Obviously, you don't believe in the right for them to get married. Obviously, you don't believe in anti-discrimination protections for them. What else would you like to take away? What other rights would you like to restrict? You said you want to classify it as a mental illness, even though it's not a mental illness. So what else would you like to do? You want to be harsh. You want to be harsh on them. So do you want to jail them? Do you want the death penalty for them? Some countries lean into that. Is that what you want? Be honest. Be honest.
As a country, we're not willing to do that. If we were willing to do that.
But what do you mean can't do these things in society?
Meaning that marriage is between a man and a woman.
Marriage.
So if you're gay, you can be a civil union, but it's not going to be marriage.
Yeah, I wanted you to qualify it because then
Yeah.
someone would take that clip and be like, he is saying that gay people cannot go to the grocery store.
No, that's completely stupid because nobody really know if you're gay. You got the gay on your forehead. No, most people want to know you're gay, but it's like these institutions where they want to be validated in is not a real thing. You're homosexual, you have a mental illness, it should be treated as such.
The idea that it's a mental illness is predicated on this idea that something's wrong there, something's abnormal. But there's some percentage of the society that is gay and has always been gay and will always be gay. This isn't something you could just eradicate or get rid of. In some percentage of society, I don't know what 5%, 10%, 15%, I don't know, some percentage is just gay. And so it is by definition natural because it happens in nature. So this idea that it's wrong or it's abnormal or it's a mental illness, that is a social construct. That is coming up with arbitrary rules and enforcing them in an authoritarian fashion. It's saying you can't have these basic differences. It's a form of literal social control, is what it is. And enforced conformity. Jesus, this is dark, man. This is just casual Daily Wire Plus stuff that, like, imagine getting a subscription, like, I can't wait to get my dose of gay hatred today. Jesus, don't you guys have anything better to do?
You're homosexual, you have a mental illness, it should be treated as such. Transgender, you're dealing with gender dysphoria, that's a mental illness, you need to be treated as such.
Now, in the case of gender dysphoria, what's the treatment for that? What's the treatment for gender dysphoria? You're saying, hey, man, they got to get this treated. I agree. It should be a right to get it treated. What's the treatment? Oh, that's right. You don't want to talk about that because it's gender-affirming care. He massively self-owned there and didn't realize it. Man, if somebody has gender dysphoria, they deserve to get the treatment for that. Yeah, it should be a right. And the treatment would be gender-affirming care.
Those things are not celebrated, they're treated. And it's going to be hard to kind of put that on society today. Just imagine if the Supreme Court overruled or overturned gay marriage.
Maybe they would burn.
I think that it's going to happen.
Congress passed a gay marriage bill. So even if the Supreme Court overturns it now, gay marriage will still be the law of the land. It was some sort of a compromise, so there's some things that are a little different. Like, I believe you're not mandated by law to marry gay people if you have a religious belief that it's wrong or whatever. So it was a compromise bill, and there's like a middle path that they found between full equal rights and no equal rights. But even if they were to overturn it, it wouldn't really change too much, other than some people can outwardly express their bigotry and reject marrying people if they have a religious belief against it. But so anyway, it's sort of a moot point anyway, because even if they do overturn it, there's still going to be gay marriage for the most part.
Unfortunately, it's probably going to cause the Conservative Party the struggle, but it's going to happen. Affirmative action was one of them. And the next thing is going to be gay marriage, because it's not protected. It's not the same as marriage between a man and a woman of different races. Gay marriage is something different.
Slip that in there. Slip that in there, just like Clarence Thomas and his decision on Roe v. Wade. What did he say? He's like, bro, we should revisit certain cases. Like, we should revisit this gay marriage case, bro. Says nothing in the Constitution about this, so we should revisit this and maybe reconsider it. So in other words, he was saying, yeah, we're overturning Roe v. Wade. We should probably overturn gay marriage too. But he didn't say anything about interracial marriage. Didn't bring up that case. What was it, Loving versus Virginia? He didn't bring that up. Was it Loving versus Virginia, or was it a different one? But anyway, he's doing the same thing. Bro, interracial marriage, that should be protected by law. I don't even know what you're talking about, bro. But gay marriage, bad, wrong. Oh, God, it's the same logic used to be against both things, though. That's what you're not acknowledging. The idea, states' rights, leave us alone. We have the freedom in our state to rule ourselves as we see fit. So if we want to ban gay marriage, we should be allowed to ban it. Or if we want to ban interracial marriage, we should be allowed to ban it. It's the same logic for both cases. So in other words, you lose one, the argument applies to both. You would lose both. But notice, he's trying to carve out, black people deserve full rights, but gay people, no. Oh my God. God, it's so shameless.
We have to be so harsh if we want to get back to what's right, and I don't think we're willing to do that.
Yeah, we're not willing to do that because people have come to their senses. 71% of this country is pro-gay marriage. In one poll, 49% of Republicans are pro-gay marriage. That's the high. The low one I saw is 41%, to be fair. But 71% of the country is pro-gay marriage. You lost independents. You lost moderates. You lost normies. Everybody realized, hey, gay people are just people. Just, like, let them do what they want. They're not hurting anybody else. There's no problem whatsoever. And he's saying we got to be harsh against them. Again, this is casually what they talk about on the Daily Wire. All right, we got one more for you here. Let's listen to this one.
Christianity is under attack. We're being bludgeoned. The only way to fix it is if we become radical Christians, and people aren't willing to do that. I hate to end it on a note like that.
No.
People are not willing to stand up and say, that's wrong. The Bible is right. This is where our country was built, what our country was built on.
I'm sure he's saying this in regards to accepting gay people and things of that nature. But if you really want to go by the Bible, you should go on a crusade to ban shrimp. Eating shrimp is an abomination in the Bible. The list of absurd rules in there is endless. The deviancy in there is endless too, by the way. In the story of Lot, Lot's own daughters get him drunk so they can rape him. That's the book you want to use as like, bro, this is where we get our life lessons from, bro. This book right here. So, oh my God. So they don't even enforce the Bible literally because they just ignore the passages they don't like. Like Jesus was massively anti-rich. He wants the wealthy to be taxed more. He wants everybody to have health care and be looked after. And he really sings the praises of the poor and the downtrodden. That's not the politics that the Daily Wire pushes out there or this guy believes in. To be fair, I don't know much about this guy, but I'm sure he's selective with, we need to enforce the Bible stuff.
Our country was not built on Islam. Our country was, to be honest, wasn't built on Judaism. It was really built on a Judeo-Christian perspective. And there's no separation between church and state. All you got to do is look at all the founding documents.
That literally, the phrase separation of church and state comes from a letter written by Thomas Jefferson. Like, it's the First Amendment is clear. You cannot establish a religion. That is functionally separation of church and state. And he's like, that's not even in there, bro. So just say it then. Just say it. I want to be a Christian nationalist. I want to be the Christian version of Saudi Arabia or the Taliban. Just say it. Stop playing hide the ball. Just say it.
They have God in it. On our money, in God we trust. On the Pledge of Allegiance has God.
That was put in like the 1950s during the height of the Cold War as an FU to the Soviet Union. He doesn't even know that. Come on, man. Oh, my God.
All in everything that we do. The 10 Commandments were in the courthouse. You had to swear in on the Bible. There's no real separation between church and state.
If you were to make a list of the 10 most important moral lessons, 10 moral hardline rules you should absolutely abide by, how many of the 10 Commandments would make the list? You shall have no other gods before me. Does that seem like that should be on a list of the 10 most important things to remember morally and ethically for a human being? You shall not make idols. That should make the list. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. We're 0 for 3 right now. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. We're 0 for 4. Honor your father and your mother. Even that one. What if your father or your mother's a rapist or a murderer or just generally terrible to you or abusive? What about that? You shall not murder. Finally, we found one that's good. You shall not commit adultery. That's not even illegal. Adultery is not even illegal. I don't recommend you do it. It's not good, but it's not even illegal. You shall not steal. Okay, I guess that one's fair, right? So we got 2 so far out of 8. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet. So maybe 2 or 3 of these, maybe, make the list. And he's bringing this up as if it's like debate ending, like 10 Commandments, bro, is part of the country at the founding. It wasn't. And it should stay that way and stuff. I guarantee you, if you sat down and thought about it for 10, 15 minutes, you could come up with a list of 10 things that are the most important moral or ethical rules of your life, and it would be better than this. There's no doubt about that.
People misinterpret that. And as Christians, we've let people get too comfortable in bashing the foundation of this country. Our inalienable rights. Where they come from? They come from God. They don't come from the cosmos. So all of these things, even the Constitution that was written, all of these things were from the perspective of Christian values. And now we just let everybody do whatever they want to do.
Oh, the horror. The horror of letting everybody do what they want to do as long as they're not hurting anybody else. Now, by the way, remember, these are the same people, and this is the same network that'll go out there on any given day and sing the values and the virtue. Freedom! We believe in freedom, and the left is anti-freedom. Just remember this clip the next time you hear that from somebody on the far right.
There should be a Christian nationalist movement. Now,
all right, he said it. Look, credit, points for honesty. He said it. Christian nationalism, that's what he wants.
People that are watching this hear the definition of Christian nationalist and they think something else. Christian nationalists, from what I'm saying, is that we should be understanding that Christ, the direction of Christ, is the right way. Everybody that is in positions of power, in my opinion, we should rise up and support Christians to be in positions of power.
Now, Jesus Christ was basically a communist before communism was a thing. Are you pro-communism? Okay, I'm sure you're going to say no to that. Are you pro-socialism, at least? Okay, I'm sure you're going to say no to that. Are you at least pro-social democracy? Taxing the rich more, redistributing it to the poor? Are you not in favor of that either. Okay, so what the fuck are you saying? You just want standard Republican politics, but Christian nationalism along with that. So basically, base a government around like gay hatred. Real deep, real intellectual. Thank you for your contribution.
Every aspect of our society. Because if we don't, these devil-loving, God-hating lunatics will begin to ruin our country, and send our kids into a spiral downhill.
Look what he thinks of people who aren't Christians or Christian nationalists. Like evil, God-hating lunatics. Or, you know, it's called Bob from The Office and Susan from the coffee shop. These are regular people. People who don't believe in God are regular people. And by the way, according to some polls, they act in a more moral way than people who believe in God. They have a stronger moral and ethical code than many people who believe in God. God, shit, this is... Who even is this asshole?
Devil-loving, God-hating lunatics. I think it's a perfect place to end this podcast.
Yes, we hate gays. We hate atheists and agnostics. We hate anybody who doesn't agree with us. Yeah. Come join our movement. Jesus Christ. God forgive anybody who's into this Daily Wire slop, man. They're really letting it all hang out. They're really letting their hatred hang out. I mean, I barely need to even do a rebuttal. You just got to watch the video and come to your own conclusions. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.